Let's go.
Let's talk some toys in here.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Today is the Man-Child. Alright, so today for review, we're going to take a look at some new Masters of the Universe Cartoon Collection figures. So check this out. We have Mantenna, one of the first Evil Horde figures, part of the cartoon collection. Hordak is next. He's going to be coming in the next wave. And then they also announced Leech and I think Catcher as well. So it's pretty cool to get into the Horde. Mantenna is probably one of my favorites, part of the Horde series or faction, including Modulok and those type of creatures. I was always fascinated with characters or figures that have multiple arms or legs or creepy looking heads. And yeah, Mantenna seems to meet that criteria, you know, as far as characters. They did a pretty good job with him too. He looks cartoonish, which he should, but kind of creepy at the same time. You know, of course, he has the 4 legs, already mentioned. It looks like the bat symbol's just painted on. I was hoping it would be sculpted like the Classics one, which I have, and I'll bring them in to compare later. It's from Super 7. Looks like it comes with a new comic, and I gotta say, these new cards look incredible. You can see they have the 40th anniversary sticker now up top, right? She-Ra's going its 40th year, so maybe that's why now they decided to put out some of the, you know, She-Ra or the Horde figures. Got the He-Man and Master Universe logo. Fire in the background, Castle Grayskull, and check that out, you have Hordak up top. But I gotta say, this is a really cool card, and I hate to rip this figure out, but I gotta do what I gotta do to review him. Then, of course, here's a quick look at the art and back of Mantenna's packaging. So yeah, we just have here's a picture of Mantenna himself. He looks a little silly in the face. I think the figure looks a little better. It's neat that they added the Princess of Power logo up on the left-hand side. We can see Shadow Weaver here. I mean, she'll be a really popular figure. I can't wait to see her in this series, which I'm sure isn't far off. We got Hordak up here in his throne. Again, Hordak's coming in the next wave. And they're saying that this, alright, so the figure is, I want to say, inspired as seen on A Loss for Words. Now, what's interesting, a lot of these cartoon figures always seem to come with some type of accessory to tie it into one of those episodes. But he doesn't come with any accessories, but he does have the eyes that pop out. And then dropping down to the left-hand side just shows Mantenna's action features. So as I already mentioned, he does have the bug eyes that pop out. So it has the action feature button in the back of the head, which is cool, just like the vintage Origins Mantenna, which I'll also bring in later. And he can also twist into powerful battle positions. But again, he doesn't come with any accessories or weapons that I can see. And then moving over to the right-hand side, here's a quick look at the cross-sell with all 3 figures as part of this cartoon series. So yeah, we have She-Ra, Ram-Man. Of course, we're going to be reviewing Mantenna. And you notice, too, I do have these figures. All right, so here's She-Ra, a quick look at her. She came out gorgeous. I was going to review her first, but to be honest, I think I'm going to keep her in card for now until I get another one, because these cards, again, they're just too cool looking. I hate to rip her out. All figures, I think I'm going to keep She-Ra in, so yeah, she's going to have to wait. And then, of course, we have Ram-Man. He's another one that I'll review him next, but he came out great. Really cool looking. I like the eyes. It's the overall, you know, bodysuit, the armor, legs. Kind of looks like they use the legs similar to that mutated Ram-Man, I think. I'm not sure. Once we get them out of package, we'll check it out. But yeah, it's exciting to have all these in hand. And by the way, these are showing up on Entertainment Earth. That's where I got mine. And of course, they're on eBay for more money. But go over to Entertainment Earth and see if they're still in stock or put pre-orders in. Because, yeah, they're coming around now. Okay, so before we take a look at Mantenna out of package, he comes with a new comic. I'm assuming all 3 of those new cartoon figures come with the same comic. It's called The Horde Invasion. Really awesome looking cover. Now, I just looked through it briefly. I didn't really read it yet. So what I'm going to do is just open it, and I'll bring the images and bubble captions close. You want to try to pause and read it, you can. But there's a lot of cool stuff and hints going on in this comic for figures that come in this cartoon series. Alright, so check that out. We got She-Ra and Swiftwind. And Cole. Move down here, right? Hopefully you can see those captions. Got, there's Bo. There's He-Man over here, and Ram-Man, Teela. Alright, so Glimmer, I think. Go to this side. Hordak has returned. Look at that chip. Awesome. There's Hordak. That's a cool piece of art. Flip to the next page. Yeah, it's pretty short, but again, a lot going on. Look at that Modulok. What's that thing in there? Look at that. Looks like another type of Horde figure with a big brain up top. Never seen that before. Wow. Hordak. There's Leech. Yep, Leech is coming next in this line. There's Mantenna, of course. Dropping down. Look at that. All the Snake Men. Wow. Snake Face. Lady Slither. Got Man-at-Arms in a pile there. Got Squeeze. Okay, they're fighting He-Man. You got the, looks like the head of King Hiss to me. I'm trying to do this slow. All right, so you can read everything. Go over this side. Horde Troopers. Go to the next page. Work again. Sure and Swiftwind. That looks like maybe Flood Arena, I want to say. Bow over there. Bo's horse in the background, I think. I'm gonna remember with Shira. Come over here. Do like this. You know, there's Extendo in the background. Sorceress, Teal, He-Man, Horde, everything going on. That's Grayskull, and then this last page. I like those Hordak tanks. Hordak. Oh, see Cal in the background there. Bo again. Shira. Sorry, I'm not real. I'm like kind of looking, reading, talking. And that's the end. So it's short, but yeah, shows a lot of cool stuff for a comic. And as always, here's a quick look around with the figure out of package with all his accessories, which again, he doesn't come with any. Side that, he looks really cool so far from what I see. I have a couple gripes with a little odds and ends I'll get into soon, but so taking a closer look at Mantenna's new head and head sculpt for the cartoon collection. Yeah, really well done. I really like the way it came out. Excellent details. Pretty neat too with the articulation. We can remove the head and you can put other heads on this body if you want to, which later on we'll try a couple for fun. So as far as the articulation with this wacky looking head, I mean, you can look all the way left to right, look all the way down and go as far as you're going to go back. I love the eyes on this figure, the open mouth. It doesn't close or nothing, but yeah, really excellent sculpting. You got the 6 teeth showing in there, which is separate. It's not like painted back in the mouth, sticking out actually. Now, one of my gripes already, this is just with my figures. Mine's really scuffed, has some bad scratching, and it just takes the paint away. So that's, yeah, gripe on my end with my figure. Any aside that, yeah, good job on the ears. They are soft as rubber. They don't articulate. It's all part of the sculpt. I'm going to spin the head around this way, right? So there's the back of the head. Now, here's the action feature, and we'll just jump right to that. Just a button you're going to push. That's it. Very simple. And then pushing that button, that's how his bug eyes come out. That's pretty cool. Works good. The eyes look, just well designed. Like the big yellow colors, the big pupils in the center. Overall, now, what I want to do as far as quick comparison, I'm going to bring in the Super 7 Classics Mantenna, Cartoon Mantenna, or Club Grayskull, Mantenna, spare head. Just to show you a quick comparison. I'll bring the figure in a little later, but give you an idea. So this was their head. Now, they didn't have an action feature like this one does, which I think is cooler. But they had, obviously, the eyes popped out. So there's a quick comparison on the two. I mean, Classics is always going to be better. But for the most part, this is a good job for a Origins cartoon figure compared to a Classics. It's not bad. Of course, this head's a little bigger. I mean, the figure was. But, yeah, I like what they did with this head. Works out, it's a good job. So then moving down from the head, so that's about it, right? We know the eyes pop out the mouth. That's about all there is to it. I just want to see something. So if I pop the head off. All right, so it looks like a regular, yeah, so it is a regular style Origins ball peg, but it's solid. It doesn't just move back and forth. No, it's all solid to the neck. All right, so that's the peg, I think. Again, we'll try some other heads on a little later for fun. All right, so moving back down, he does have that armor collar piece. Let me see. It is rubbery, but it's attached. Is it attached to the body? Yeah, it's like plugged or glued to the body, right? So there's a front and back. You can see it just tapers. It comes down over the back part. And then moving down to the butt and chest, yeah, it's a whole new design. Very small and skinny for this Mantenna figure. So yeah, he can spin at the waist. And then, of course, come apart at the waist. It's a standard Origins waist piece. So you can, again, adapt other torsos or figures on top. You want it to do that. So taking a closer look at the Horde bat symbol, very clean, painted well, but I kind of wish it was sculpted outwards like the Classics. Again, I'll bring that in a little while. They didn't just flat, but for what it's doing for this figure, it's fine. And there's the front, here's the back of the figure. And then moving on to his arms, so yeah, newer arms, once again, newer sculpt, aesthetics, not like a typical He-Man, style or Skeletor style arms. So, yeah, I want to say all new, right? As far as the articulation, you can go all the way out, down, forward, back. You can bend the elbow. Let's see. Okay, you can bend all the way up to the face. Look at that. That's pretty good. And straighten it all the way out. You can spin at the elbow. The left arm is all same sculpt, same articulation. And then, let me see. I'm sure his arms come out. They standard. Yep, okay, so standard Origins peg. I don't see why they wouldn't be. Put that back in. Came out pretty easy, too. And then moving on to the hands. So, yeah, newly sculpted hands, I want to say, from Mantenna, and they spin and goes in and out in hinge joint. Left hand's the same. But a little gripe on my end, I feel like it should have been longer. Once again, I'm going to bring in one of the Classics hands, the spare hands. And again, the color's different. The color's a lot bluer in this figure, where this is more accurate to the Filmation, I believe, the Classics one, I think. I still like the color for what it's doing, but yeah, I think these hands are like creepier with the longer fingers. They didn't do that with this Mantenna, they're short, but they are new hands from what I can see, I think. So they should have been longer, but beside that, all right, it is what it is. Okay, so we went over the head, this, right, hands. And then moving down, he has a, just a regular cartoon style belt, newer loin. This is all new, obviously, for Mantenna, because it has to go all the way back to accommodate the 4 different legs. All right, so that's new, right, front and back. And then moving down to the legs. So, yeah, we have, right, once again, we have 4 legs. Again, I always think that's creepy in a figure, a character, just like Modulok, where you could put 4 or 6 legs. So, all new sculpts, right, as far as the legs, just like the arms, from what I can see. And so the forward, the legs facing forward, or the front legs, they are different from the back a little bit, because the back ones have these spines or fins, you can see, and even they look larger too, I think, right, than the front ones. But as far as the front ones, so they're all right. So you can straighten them all the way out. As far as the articulations, you can go, wow, you can go all the way out. So I guess with a split, okay. So both legs will go all the way out with a split. Actually, all 4. All right, so all legs will go out with a split. Yeah, I'm jumping around here. Kick forward, go back. You can bend at the knee, spin at the knee. Other legs are all the same. And then he comes with these, yeah, newer style boots, right? Just black boots on the front, and they spin. And then the foot can go up and down, rock side to side. And then you can remove these. They're just standard. I can see that in there. Just standard Origins style pegs for boots. So you could put other He-Man boots or Skeletor boots on the legs if you wanted to for the Mantenna. I'm just going to leave these on. And then heading back over to the back set of legs, I already mentioned, yeah, they're different. It looks like the lower ankles, that's the same, but this is different, all right? And then he has the foot, too. So he has a different, what sort of substitute a boot, so it can come off as well, and you can put boots on the back of these legs. They also have fins, right, left and right side, with a regular foot, and that can go up and down and rock side to side. I already said this can spin, this leg too, right? We already know go out with a split. I mean, a lot of articulation here. Just thinking kick, you can do all kinds of cool poses. Kick the leg, that's awesome with this Mantenna. Not only does he have 4 legs, just like the vintage Aspire Mantenna did in the Origins, because the first figure in the vintage line had the legs that are always together, if anybody remember that collecting. So it's cool he did that with this figure as well, which it would be silly if they didn't. But excellent articulation. And again, going back to the boots, if you got 2 of these figures, you can put, you could put all, like, these black boots on all 4 legs if you wanted to, or you could put these feet on the front, on all 4 legs as well. So you can mix things around or just put different boots on. But yeah, that's about all there is to them. Really cool. Yeah, so I'm playing around here as I'm fascinated with it. And then, okay, so then flipping them over, you can't just change the legs around, because I was wondering, well, what could you put these legs up front and these legs in the back? You wanted to do that just because of the fins. It's a little different. Doesn't seem like they normally come off. It seems like you'd have to heat this up and pull these out and switch things around with all 4 legs. It's kind of risky. But for the most part, it doesn't look like they're meant to come out. It's just basically the boots are meant to come off, and the arms and the torso or head, from what I can see with this figure. All right, moving forward with some comparisons and mixing and matching of parts. So once again, here's our new Origins cartoon Mantenna against the Super 7 Club Grayskull Mantenna, okay? So I already showed you the alternative head with the bug eye, the action feature, just sculpted bug eyes popping out, because this didn't have an action feature, which most classics didn't. So yeah, it's pretty much those 2 together. So you can obviously see the difference in the blue tones, which I already brought up earlier. I like them both, but I think this is more accurate to the Filmation. It was darker. And that seems to be the trend with a lot of these cartoon figures with the Origins. It seemed very bright compared to what the Filmation actually showed. But again, this is a good sculpt, articulation. Now, moving him out of the way for a second, so I'm just going to give a little closer look at the Club Grayskull Mantenna. So it has all the typical articulation, right? Longer fingers. These are crawled in. Here's our spare hands that are open, which the Origins one does not come with open hands. And let's look at the back. The articulation. This one too, it's sloppy. It's paint slops all over. That's a problem with Super 7. A lot of QC issues, loose joints, paint slops, that kind of thing. Which I never really messed around too much with this figure. This one also has a wash all over the body, which I don't know if I like that. But yeah, they did give that to him. Has the articulation, the head. And then you can change out the other head as I already showed. So that's, yeah, pretty much that Mantenna. Right, get him out of the way. And he also comes with a blaster. I guess maybe this was in the Sheer cartoon filmation one time. I don't remember seeing it. So let me bring back in the Origins cartoon Mantenna. I wonder if this will fit in his hand. Let's see. And there you go. So that Super 7 Club Grayskull Mantenna blaster fits the Origins Mantenna hands. Because, yeah, the Origins always have poor sculpted hands, as I always say. They seem to drop a lot of weapons, depending on the figure. But even though these are a newer type sculpted hand and short, as far as the, where I think it should have had the longer fingers, it seems to grip better. So yeah, it holds that blaster with the larger handle. That's the problem with the Origins. The larger the handle, the more difficult it seems for them to hold certain weapons. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I wish they would have added something like that with this Mantenna figure. Anyway, so that's pretty much a look at those two. And then what else? Yeah, so everything else is the same, right? He has 2 black boots in the front. Same type of feet, going back to filmation. But this one, the boots don't come off. They're all part of sculpt and painted, where these are removable. I like that a lot better in the classics. It has the fins in the back. Let's check out the details on the fins. Yeah, pretty good job for what the Origins did. These are a little more, a little more detail, not by much. And and then of course the bat on the chest. I should have mentioned that. See how that's sculpted out? I like that a little better. Where this is just flat, just painted to the chest. Some of the other designs are different. Just spin at the waist. Yep, this one spins at the waist. But beside that, yeah, that's a look between the Origins and the classics, Super 7, the Club Grayskull. And I gotta say, I like this one. It's not too far from what the classics are showing, side odds and ends. A little more detail and things like that. And then, of course, for the last comparisons, at least what I have for Mantenna figures in the Origins line, yeah, this is the vintage-inspired, original, or 80s-inspired Mantenna, right, against our new cartoon-inspired Mantenna. That's those two together. I mean, this one's really cool in its own way, but yeah, this takes the cake. This guy's really evil looking. They did a good job with him. They made him very close to the classics, just with the, 4 legs, again, where they weren't fused together like the original toy. The articulation, the head, the design, they did a great job with him. He's one of my favorites. He's like one of my top 10 favorites as far as Origins still. So yeah, again, they're both Mantenna, but totally different. So let's, for fun, let's see what kind of parts we can mix around with these two and see what they look like. Okay, so the first thing I want to do, or the easy thing to do, was just head swaps. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It kind of looked goofy. I mean, this head there's hardly any articulation. You can look left to right. I mean, yeah, okay, they're both Mantenna figures, right? He has the action feature if you're not familiar, which is, again, so does he. A different type. So that's pretty much 2 heads. I don't care for it, but it is possible. So once again, I just switched the heads back on each of the bodies, and now what I did was I just switched the bodies around with the lower sets of legs. All right, so here's a cartoon Mantenna head and upper body on this lower set of Mantenna legs. It can work. The belt's a little wider because he has a very skinny waist, articulates well, but, I don't know, again, for this Mantenna, there's something cool with these legs and these horde-like feet, boot kind of things. I guess that could work with this figure, and then going back to the upper vintage Mantenna with the legs. Yeah, again, it's not terrible. And once again, jumping back over to the cartoon Mantenna, or the upper Mantenna, the buck and the head, I just put the vintage antennas, right? We left the lower legs on, and I put the arms on this figure. That looks pretty cool. That's not a bad setup with this head and that upper body, as long as you change the 2 arms and leave the legs to match with the cartoon upper parts. That looks pretty cool. I like that. Wow. And then, of course, with the same setup, I want to put the vintage Mantenna head back on the cartoon body. So that's all we're gaining, right? We have the arms, the lower legs, and that head. If you like this smaller body for some reason, for something different, and that doesn't look bad now. It looks a lot better, right? Minimal articulation, but for the most part, another little custom idea from between those 2 Mantenna figures. So reversing the roles once again, jumping back over to the vintage Mantenna, or at least the buck and head. I took the cartoon Mantenna's arms and lower legs, right? Just snapped that together on this figure, or just put the head and buck on this and arms on. Here's a quick look at that setup, and again, it works. Yeah, it looks a lot better because you're matching the arms with the legs using this body in that vintage head. All right, quick look at that setup. So again, another cool custom. I think as long as you just match the arms and legs, once you put this on and you leave the arms, that could work too, but no, I think it looks better that way. And lastly, let's just pop that head off now, put the cartoon head on, because we have the arms and lower legs and the chest, and again, it looks a lot better. Another cool setup, as long as you match the arms and legs, and we're just changing the bucks and heads around. Pretty neat. Alright, so we're back where we started with Mantenna, put them all back together, obviously. I did put the Origins Mantenna, or one of the Horde crossbow bows in his hand, see what that looks like. So he can hold it pretty well, as long as you flip the hand around, give him a weapon. Now, I brought in the cartoon 2-bad, right? So it's a quick comparison between two really cool cartoon figures, if you got this one from Mattel Creations. The reason why I brought him in is because I want to try now just put another upper waist on this figure. It somewhat matches the colors. My first thought was Faker or Skeletor. I mean, we have quite a few in the line, but none of the colors match this blue. They're either too light or just off. I mean, you can do that, but I thought 2-bad would be something interesting because we get this bulky figure with two different heads, right? We got the purplish, which kind of matches that. That's sort of a purple color, this upper buck a little bit to me. What it looks like to me. And the blues are pretty close. This is still darker, right? And yeah, and then 4 legs, right? 2 heads, that kind of thing. So let me just pop this. I'm going to take this split 2-bad in half. And yeah, put his upper buck on the Mantenna legs and see what that looks like. And there's a quick look at that custom setup. That's pretty cool. Again, the colors, they're kind of close, between the legs and the upper half, but I like something with that. And even the larger, where it gets down to the waist, it's not bad. It does kind of overhang this belt, but it's not terrible. It's actually pretty close. Articulates well, right? And we already looked at, familiar how the legs articulate and all good stuff in heads, but yeah, that's a pretty cool setup. So of all figures, I think this 2-bad with the blue side matches well with the lower legs, and the purple could just blend right in the arm and all that good stuff. You could change boots out too if you wanted to. It's already mentioned, but... And then of course for fun, I just want to throw Mantenna's upper half on the 2-bad lower half of his body with the legs. Again, you can use a Skeletor lower half or whatever can fit, but just something with this blue is very close to this arm. Even though he has a purple leg, it's kind of blending with this, even though it's a darker tone. And it articulates well. And now, yeah, see the belt, he overhangs quite a bit from his waist. But, it is MOTU. You can make it work. It's fun. Something for another custom idea to do or try. And then, of course, when all else fails trying to match the arms or legs because of the colors, you can always just throw a lower set of legs on him, like Skeletor here, right? And regular upper arms from the Origins. And you can use any, you can give him tan, He-Man arms, legs, or... whatever you want. Again, I'm just trying to match blue and purple tones and go back to this upper buck with the purplish color and leave the Mantenna head on. And I put this Skeletor belt guard on because it kind of hides the gap, which is pretty cool with the Skeletor. So another way to modify Mantenna if you don't want to, with some regular arms, which is cool because of how modular they are now with the Origins. So once again, getting back on track, I put the cartoon Mantenna all back together. But now what I did is I put Hordak boots from the Origins Hordak. I have a couple of them on all 4 legs, right? So check that out. And obviously I removed all of these, right? And we know that these boots can go back here. You could put the blue, the feet up front if you wanted to. I think they match better because of the fins. But I think that's a unique look. If you had 4 sets of Horde boots, or you can have 2 in the back and these up front. Everything I said, mix it around. But I want to see what that looks like, being I had those. And that's pretty cool look for Mantenna too, even though he's a cartoon figure. Alright, so before I finish the video up, I just want to try some additional heads on the top of this body like I already said I wanted to. I mean, we did try to mint the Origins Mantenna head. I'm going to leave the Horde boots on for now. So, yeah, I brought the cartoon 2-bad head in off the cartoon 2-bad. Because of the tones of the skin, obviously, see what that looks like under this body. You just see what a regular head looks like instead of this wacky Mantenna head. Let's quick look at that. Yeah, it's not bad, I guess. It has good articulation. Neck looks really skinny and weird from the back. You can see that with this particular head. But just a quick look at that. And then for next setup, a good old Skeletor head. The Skeletor head from the Origins fits great on anything because of that purple hood and a skull face. This was a variant head from God knows what Skeletor. I think the Battle Armor one maybe. But quick look at that setup. And that looks a lot better. You don't see the gap too much if you put the head back. Even the purples on this particular hood matches this upper body, close. And because it's skull head, it just can match the overall leg. Just the colors don't matter as far as the legs. But that's neat. Yeah, I like that too. And then for one last head change out, and a very awkward but yet popular head. Of course, I had to try the Hordak head on the Mantenna body because, right, the Evil Horde. Now this one came from the blue Powercon. I have a couple of them. This was a spare head, right? Because it has the blue fin instead of the black one, which it could work. You want to use that one, you can match the boots or something. But see, here's the problem. Now I can fit the head over the body, but I don't know if it's going to go over the ball peg. Felt like it did. All right, there it goes. So it's very limited all right, maybe a little bit with the articulation. Let me see. Twist left to right. Feels like it wants to pop off. But yeah, I want to see what a Hordak head looks like on a cartoon body with all legs. Again, with the blue fin. The black one worked too because of the black collar. And again, whether you use these boots or regular black, the ones he come with. Quick look at that setup. Again, I like it. It's creepy. Hordak head always goes well on certain figures if it can fit. Alright, so that about sums it up. And that's my overall review on the new Masters Universe Origins Cartoon Collection Mantenna figure. I gotta say, I'm really impressed with them. They did a great job. You can have a lot of fun with them, like mixing certain parts around with this or vintage-inspired Mantenna. Again, depending on how you mix the arms and legs and heads and stuff like that. I think anyway, bodies around, it's fun. I mean, this one's always going to be boss. He's just crazy-looking Mantenna, but this one's definitely fun. And I gotta say, next to the classics, he's, highly detailed. He's pretty cool. This one obviously has better details, but I think I like the colors better on this one. I don't care for this wash. And it's interesting that he comes with that blaster and this Origins one doesn't. I don't remember seeing that in any of the Filmation episodes. Maybe one of them. I don't remember. But they should have gave him a weapon is what I'm saying. Whether it's another Horde crossbow or something like that. I mean, there's plenty of Horde crossbows out there, so you can equip him with one. But I think I would like a blaster better. Like this Super 7 one has. I like the head. It's really neat that they also kept the action feature, added one, just like the vintage Mantenna. And everything's all new tooling, from what I can see. The arms, right, legs, body, everything. So that's pretty cool. Hands, I wish the fingers were a little longer, going back to this one. I think it's creepy and looks better, but, it's sometimes they cut things with this Origins collection. Aside from that, I think they did a great job on them, and I really look forward to seeing Hordak, Leech, Grizzlor, and the rest of the Horde in this cartoon line. They just keep getting better too, in my opinion, as, they keep coming forward. So, as always, I appreciate everybody watching. And until next time, take care.